All right, let's talk about a dream that I know so many of us have, but very few actually chase after: making your very own video game. We're going to pull back the curtain and demystify what it really takes to go from just a player to a creator.
I mean, seriously, think about it. You've poured hundreds, maybe thousands of hours into exploring these amazing digital worlds, right? Mastering the mechanics, getting lost in the stories. So, of course, at some point, that little thought pops into your head. I bet I could build something cool like this.
But then, almost immediately after that awesome idea, something else creeps in. That little voice of doubt. The one that tells you it's just way too hard, too technical, totally out of your league. And that's where the dream usually stops. In this feeling, this sense of intimidation is a huge part of the gamer's dream. It's that massive gap between wanting to create something and feeling like you just can't. But what if that entire gap is just a big misunderstanding? That's right. The idea that it's too hard for you to start. It's not a fact. It's probably the single biggest myth in the entire industry. And today, we're going to tear it down. So let's talk about this wall of myths. It's this collection of ideas that we've all heard so many times that they sound like facts. They feel true. But as you're about to see, they're really not. Yeah, I bet these sound pretty familiar, huh? You've got to be some kind of programming wizard, or a math genius, or you need a whole studio of people to make anything worth playing. These are the classic gatekeepers, the ideas that scare people away before they even try. But here's the flip side. Here's the reality. Game development is not about being a coding genius who has every algorithm memorized. It is about being a creative problem solver. And that's a skill I guarantee you already have from playing games. So, what changed? Why are all those old myths kind of falling apart? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The tools we have today are just incredible. They've completely changed the game. And this brings us to the most important tool, the game engine. The best way to think about it is like a professional toolkit for building a house. It already handles all the complicated stuff, like gravity, lighting, physics, so you can focus on the fun part, designing the rooms, telling the story, creating the experience. Exactly. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The days of needing to write a physics system from scratch just to make a ball bounce realistically, they are long, long gone. The engine handles all that heavy lifting for you. Now, look, let's be real. The first time you open up a program like Unity or Unreal, it can be a lot. You see all these windows and buttons and menus, and it's so easy to think, whoa, there is no way I can figure this out. That feeling? Totally normal. But then, something amazing happens. You follow a simple tutorial, you write maybe 2 or 3 lines of code, you hit the play button, and your character moves. Your creation comes to life on the screen. I'm telling you, that moment is pure magic. It is so rewarding, and it is absolutely addictive. And right there, in that one instant, your entire point of view shifts. You've crossed a line. You're not just someone who plays games anymore. You're now someone who makes them. You're a creator. Okay, so if it's not about being some kind of technical master, then what's the actual secret? What's the real mindset that separates the people who finish their games from the people who just dream about it? This right here, this is the heart of it. The goal isn't to write perfect, elegant, flawless code. The goal is to be creative and just solve the problem in front of you, to find clever, sometimes messy ways to make your idea actually work on the screen. And this is so, so important to hear. Even professional developers, people who do this for a living, don't have all the answers. They are constantly Googling things. They're looking up how to do stuff every single day. They learn what they need to know for the specific problem they're trying to solve right now. Feeling like you don't know something isn't a failure. It's just part of the job. And this is the whole process in a nutshell. You see, making a game isn't one giant, impossible task. It's 1,000 small, totally manageable ones. First, you figure out, how do I make the player jump? You solve that. Then, how do I make a door open? You solve that. You just keep solving one little puzzle after another, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your world starts to come to life. So, we've busted the myths, we've talked about the tools, and we've uncovered the real creator's mindset. It all comes down to one thing now, just your first step. Please remember this. You don't need to be an expert to start. Expertise is what you earn along the way, not a ticket you have to buy before you get on the ride. And you definitely don't need to know everything. Nobody does. All you need to know is how to find the answer to your very next problem and then the one after that.
That's it. That is the whole secret right there. Just start. Open the software, watch the first 5 minutes of a tutorial, write one single line of code. The smallest action is all it takes to get the ball rolling.
And really, that's the question I want to leave you with. You're already a gamer. You understand these worlds, you have the passion, you know what makes a game fun. The only thing standing between you and building your own world is the decision to start. So, what are you waiting for?